Hey guys, JW here. Thank you for joining me again this evening for another episode here in my house where I will go ahead and show off these beautiful Shun knives. These are both chef knives. Let's go ahead and see if we can see the beautiful finish and the handles here. What I'm going to be using one of these two, if not both, just to see how they handle, is sorry, I just got caught up in the beauty of these knives. I'm always excited to get to use them. You can see here, if you're wanting to take care of your knives, you're going to want to find what's in them, okay? Next up, here's their beautiful logo on this side. Very simple, but very elegant at the same time. These knives are razor sharp. They do take a little bit of care. The balance, as you can see, is spot on. Now this is the 8-inch that we see here. This one here is the big boy. It is the 10-inch. Typically when cutting melons, so we're going to be cutting a cantaloupe. So when you're cutting a melon, to get through that thick rind or the outer layer, you're going to want to use a chef knife unless you have a particular curved blade, which could be for cutting melons in particular. So there is a knife out there for just a little bit of about everything. So what I'm going to do is I have, just so happen, this cantaloupe. I've done kind of washed it off and everything, and we're going to set our knives to the side. So I have my mic here. We're just going to try and capture all the sounds from up above and down below, so hopefully everyone can see and hear everything as we go to cut. I think for the weight and everything and what I want to do, I'm going to use the nice 10-inch knife to make sure we get a nice pull all the way through. You can just see that beautiful damask pattern there as we get ready to cut this melon. Now, let's see here if I can get everything in here just a little better. There we are. So, going to find the nice flat spot. Don't want it wiggling around too much. I'm going to just come in right here next to, I guess, where the stem used to be. So I'm just going to come just to the right of that. Let me turn it here so we can see it cut together. I'm going to start here, just slowly push forward. Look at it cut through that like butter. Look at that. Beautiful, nice cut. Now, if you take a look at my cutting board, I like this cutting board. As you can view it here on the edges, it is cupped. So all this nice juice and everything will get caught and not just end up everywhere. So up next, we're just going to make another cut. Just effortless. I'm going to set this half over here off to the side. Just going to come right here. Look at that. I'm trying not to press too hard because too much chopping and pushing on your blade will dull it. And a lot of people don't know, if you're new to knives or just an amateur at-home cook like myself, you want a honing rod to help straighten the blade. It's not so much that it sharpens it, but it helps straighten the blade after a lot of abuse and cutting on the chopping board or block, depending on what you have. So with this, just going to take, actually I'm going to set this down. I'm excited. What I want to do is I want to grab my paring knife, and what I want to do is just kind of be very careful and just cut that nice and close, because we don't want to waste too much of the melon. I'm just going to come over here to the side. You can just see, sorry, I'm hogging all the fun over here to myself. You can just see how nice and thin sliced you can get it, cutting through the seeds and everything there. And we will just set this over here. You can see that it has cut all of that out nice and neat. Didn't waste too much of the cantaloupe. Set that one there. Now let's see how it does on maybe a larger piece. So just going to come in here, kind of score here and here. And just as I am cutting, let's see if I can get up here and let y'all see a little bit more of it. I'm just right there on the edge, barely moving it back and forth. Look at that. And I'll just to clean it up. We won't chunk this piece. This looks like a good piece. To hang on to. There we are. Now we may want to come inside and just cut the excess out. I'm just going to see if we can't just kind of dice. There we go. Just dice it out a little nice and thin and clean it up so we're not wasting some of that fruit, some of that melon. Just kind of clean it up there. Coming from the top. I mean, as you can see, look, it just made short work of that there. Now, I will say probably a spoon would help in this situation, but I'm going to gently use my knife this time and look into maybe some options for spoons. Now, when you start looking at plating spoons and other spoons, they have some that are very fine tipped. That would be great for scooping into the grooves of this melon. We can dive into those later on. Just want to cut into this again. Again, just look at that. Just a slight push and pull, and it's in half. We want to take it any further. I'm going to get right here on this very edge. Make sure we don't lose a finger. Maybe you just want a little snack before bed. You just want to thin it out just enough to share. You can do so. That's how sharp these knives are. I know that there's a lot of other great knives out there. Now, don't think just because I have an expensive knife that you have to go out and have one. So, you don't have to go tell your wife or your husband, hey, I got to have these knives because look how sharp they cut. That's up to you. You don't. any knife, anything will cut through the material as long as it is properly taken care for and sharpened on regular, just depending on the material you're using. So don't think that you have to have expensive knives as well to do what I'm doing here. I don't want anybody to think that that's what I'm here to do. I'm not selling anything. I'm just showing you, hopefully, just my excitement of how easy as 1, 2, and pull it is for these knives to cut. I've had knives. I've loved knives for a long time. I've had a huge passion for them. Reaching out to a couple different places to see about becoming maybe an affiliate to where maybe I can show you their products. Now, I'm obviously not growing exponentially with subscribers or anything like that, but that's part of the fun. Just being patient, taking your time, being real with people, showing them what products can do, okay, and how they can either help or hinder what you have going on in your home or in your everyday life. Now, we did a master job at cutting this melon with this beautiful 10-inch chef's knife. I am just going to do a quick rinse off here because with these blades, you don't want them to set up with stuff on them, like especially anything too acidic, because with the steel that I chose, it reacts with water. So if you leave it, it's going to rust. So you just want to take your towel. You want to take your towel, give it a once over, and to be careful. And there you have it. It's nice and dry again. One more time, just because you don't want to leave any streaks on them. All right, so I still have some melon left to cut. What I want to take a look at now is, are we going to get the same experience with an 8-inch chef knife? So this is my 8-inch. Let's take a look. We have our center. Now this one, as you can see, I don't have blade to melon ratio. There's not as much blade. I think it might take just a smidge longer with an 8-inch than over the 10-inch. For any one knife, if I had to say to get one, I would say a nice sharp 10-inch chef's knife for my personal preference. 8 inches will get it done, but if you want it done in one stroke, 10 inches is going to be, I think, the better choice. Here we go. Just nice and slow. I don't even have to worry about cutting it. The knife is doing the work for me. Look at that. There we go. Oh, look at that. That's what was holding this up. So in here, a seed, I guess, got produced down here. I guess you can see its travel. In here, there was a seed down here, and the knife cut it in half. That is kind of cool. Let's take a look at that. So the seed, I guess, has traveled. Kind of shows you where it started. Get my big finger out of the way. Kind of traveled, I guess, inside this melon and was working its way on its way out until we cut into it. Just look at that. See where we chopped it in half there. We can get a little closer view on that. The seed traveling here. That is cool. Something you don't really think about when you're in the rush of things. just trying to get things done, cut up for the kids so they can get to bed, or maybe it's family, friends are coming over. Just want to hurry up and get it done. Now, I will say I can get a little better control, I feel like, out of this 8-inch over the 10-inch knife when trying to, if you just had to have one knife in the kitchen. So precision, go with that 8-inch. If you want to make sure you're going to cut up everything from maybe the turkey or ham to brisket to watermelon or what we are cutting here today, which is cantaloupe. It's really just going to be on the user's preference and what you're going to need it for. So you don't need to go buy $1,000 set of knives or anything like that. Just a good sharp knife will allow you to do the same thing. So as long as your knives are nice and sharp, like for myself, I've made some acquaintances at a local shop here that does a fabulous job at sharpening. And then for some people that want a larger slice, we won't tell anybody if you don't. We're just gonna, the seed right there I got hung up on. Just slowly, because you don't want to let your knife slip and cut yourself. And we got that one in one go. We're getting better at it. We are getting better. That's all we can ask for, right? Well, guys, I'm going to continue to wash up and everything over here, and just kind of stack up the seeds. I think I may let them dry out. Maybe I'll start a garden come fall. I get past winter here. But take a look at that. That's just nice and easy cuts. Not the prettiest, not the most agile, but we got it done tonight. Thank you for your help and watching. Thank you for your time. And as always, good night from the JW household.